A friend called yesterday. He was talking about his family. He was talking about some things. And he said, you know, I'm homeless. I said, you're not homeless. You have a house. But he said, yes, I'm homeless. I'm separated from my wife. My kids have moved away. I don't see my grandkids that often. And I'm actually homeless. And then he said, you are too, Barry. You're homeless. And I thought, I don't feel homeless. But I tried to think about and compare what's going on with me and him, because my kids have moved away too. And they live in different areas, 600 miles away in different directions. And I see them, but it's not the same at all. But then I came across a reading in Proverbs 24:3, where it says, through erudition, a house is built. Through understanding, it's established. And through awareness, it becomes filled with dear and important treasures. And I just thought, okay, that's the way to build a house. Through study, through learning, through reading scripture. That's the way. Through study, a house is built. And when I can learn and when I study, if I can become aware of what I learn, then and if I can understand it and apply it, then it can become filled with dear and important treasures. Through study, a house is built. And then I look at my counseling, and I know that in the 50 years of counseling, I have seen dear and important treasures take place. I have seen good things. I don't want to lie about it. It's been difficult. It's a difficult field to be in. But I have seen dear and important treasures. So I want to contrast what my friend said to me about being homeless and how I feel about being in the dark night of the soul and homeless in a way. And I also read about what St. Augustine said. St. Augustine, who lived a wild life, he had a kid out of wedlock that later died, but he had a lot of things going on. But one day he prayed and he said, God, if you want me to do your will, give me the ability also to do it. And I really want to apply this. So if you want to get me through the dark night of the soul, if you want me to handle this cancer, then give me the ability to do it. And I want to communicate that to anybody who feels homeless, anybody who is incarcerated or dealing with sobriety or is depressed or has anxiety, that if God's will is for you to get better, if God's will is for me to have cancer, for you to be sick, that He will give the ability to handle it and get through it. So pray for both. Pray to do God's will, as St. Augustine said, but also pray for the ability to do it. And St. Augustine had tried and tried on his own will to do it. But when he trusted God to get through all of his troubles and travails, and there were a lot of them, but when he trusted God to really get through it, that was the way. So I'm giving two things this morning, two things. I want to say through erudition, a house is built. Through study, through learning, through just looking at the Bible, reading scripture. That is how a house is built. And when you understand it, then it's established. Then it's truly established. And then you can become aware of everything around. So it's filled with dear and important treasures. And that makes it a beautiful thing. And what St. Augustine said, he said, if you have will for me and I want to do your will, God, then give me the ability to do it. So if I need to establish my house by reading and learning, then I pray that God gives me the ability to just do it and learn it. So I'm giving two things on how to get through the dark night of the soul, how to get through darkness, how to handle darkness. One is study and one is prayer, that if God wills you to change, if God wills you to be sober, if God wills you to get through the dark night of the soul, that He will give the means to do it. Just what St. Augustine said. So do not fear the darkness of the soul. Do not fear the dark night of the soul. Do not fear it. And if you want to like this video, go ahead. If you want to subscribe, that would be great. And if you want to leave a comment on what this means to you, just let me know. But do not fear the dark night of the soul. Do not fear the darkness of life. If God gives you it, He will also give you the ability to get through it. So pray to do God's will and pray to have the ability to get through it. And one of the ways to do it also is not to be homeless, but to establish a house through study, through understanding what you're studying, and then through awareness on how to apply it in every way possible. Do not fear the dark night of the soul. Do not fear it.